This is Conversations with Mike Sparks.
Are you concerned with the state of America, your state, your community? Then you're in the right place. State Representative Mike Sparks. He and guests are here to talk about local politics, history, faith, and freedom.
All right. Listen, Conversation Mike Sparks, man. It's like the nursing home version of YMCA or something. I never heard that one. Where'd you find that one at, Connor?
It's on YouTube.
Oh, it is?
Ain't that the one Mike told you to play, though?
Oh, that must be the original guys or something.
Yeah.
Oh, even the president's
But
there.
it's, they're 30 years older. So.
Oh, wow. Wow. But they sound like being there from nursing home.
Which one was your
Anyways,
favorite one, Mike?
I like the
Village
original.
People. Which one was your favorite
I like
guy,
the
though? Which
original.
one was the cowboy or the
No, I didn't like none of them. I just
Indian
like
or
the
any-
music,
okay,
man.
okay.
No, that's some East Fork boys. Anyways, got a big show tonight. We got Trey Mansfield, candidate run for sheriff. We've had, and I really appreciate Roger Thomas helping us with scheduling all this. This is our third candidate running for sheriff in the Republican primary. We've had Steve Spence last week. We had Kenneth Barrett about a month ago. We had Randy Allen running for county mayor 2 weeks ago, I believe it was. And we had Joe Carr, I believe, about
And Craig
3
Harris.
weeks ago. We had Craig Harris. I think Craig was probably the first one that joined us. Is that right, Craig? And but appreciate you setting all that up, man. I've been pretty busy with session. Looks like we'll be busy again. Looks like we're, the Governor Bill Lee's calling for a special session about redistricting, and that's going to get controversial, no doubt. And to be honest with you, I'm a little worried about a little bit of political violence. I've had Antifa in front of my house about 7 years ago, and kind of freaked out my wife and neighbors. As you know, Roger, I wasn't there. I was out there with General Haston touring out there at National Training Center with the 278th, and I'd already had a warning that I was like a target, and the attorney called me and said, man, be real careful, and just gave my wife, told her where all my life insurance policies were, and it was that next night, man, they showed up. She called about 4 a.m. But anyways, a friend of mine's dad passed away, and he texted me this morning, Eric Tutabeni's father, Paul Tutabene, and I did a proclamation honoring him. I believe it was last year, and great guy. He was 95 years old, lived a good life, and checked on Eric this morning. I immediately seen he texted me and wanted to check on him, but it was an honor to be able to meet this gentleman and know this gentleman, and we'd had coffee a few times, and just a great guy. And Eric's a fine fella, and I know we're going to play, if Connor can get to it, we're going to play Eric. One thing's interesting about Eric, he's in he does a band called the Foreigner Experience, and really, man, these guys sound just like Foreigner, which was one of my favorite bands. And we got to be careful playing copyright music, that sort of thing. But
yes.
they're licensed to play music, and they have their CDs. But Eric, man, just a awesome bass guitarist and vocalist, and he was his caregiver for 2.5 years, him and his lovely wife. But I think we're going to get into that if he's got it pulled up. And a lot of folks know this song, but this is a dedication to Paul Tutabeni for my friend Eric, who lost his father this morning.
standing in the rain with his head hung low. Couldn't get a ticket. It was a secret picture of the scene. Put his ear to the wall, then like a distant scream, he heard one guitar. Just blew him away. Saw stars in his eyes. And the very next day, bought a beat-up six-string in a second-hand store. Didn't know how to play it, but he knew for sure that one guitar felt good in his hand. Didn't take long to understand. Just one guitar.
As a shout out to my friend Eric Tutabeni that plays in that band, the Foreigner Experience. And Eric, sorry if you lost your dad, brother, and hope all is well. Ain't nothing like losing your mom or your dad. You know what?
Oh, I know, man. And Mother's Day is next week,
Next
and that's
Sunday,
when
yep.
I'll think about them.
Yep.
And I know you do too, but I lost mine, breast cancer, and lost, so it's, it's
Yep.
pretty hard, seeing them just
Yep.
like that. So,
Well, Eric was fortunate. We tried to take care of my dad, and my wife, after about 6 months, my wife said, "It's either me or your dad." I mean, she literally said, "Hey, it's either him." He was so difficult. Yeah. Smyrna Councilman said my dad's the meanest man in Smyrna.
Oh, yeah, I heard that.
Anyways, I forgive the guy. I like that councilman. He's a nice guy. He rode my dad's school. My dad was a school bus driver. It's like Sergeant Carter being a school bus driver. It ain't gonna work. You want to give a shout out to one of our buddies?
Well, yeah, I want to give out it. Can I give out 2 or 3 shout outs?
Yeah, man, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. First of all, Daniel Owenby, Benchmark Realty. It's a buddy of mine. He was one of the Bridgestone guys that got whacked, and still got some time to work. So he's out selling real estate now. And to get a hold of Daniel, 615-977-4803 or Daniel Owenby at gmail.com. Really, really great guy. And also, man, this one right here, Monday we had that storm, okay? We had the neighbor's big old tree fell, Bradford Pear fell on my son's vehicle,
Oh.
SUV. So he said, "Can you bring the chainsaw out? We can't even get out." So his wife, it was just, she's pregnant, 2 grandkids, and so anyway, I want to give a big shout out to somebody that helped out an old man that's seen him out there. Is that Murfreesboro Storm Brush Crew with that knuckle, I think they call it a knuckle boom or something.
Yeah.
But these guys here, man, got it all up, and they had like about 45 years experience between all 3 of them.
Really?
And it's Trenton Farrell, Daniel Williams, and Caleb Lassiter. I mean, great guys, man. Great guys. I mean, they did all that. They seen me struggling out there trying to do it. And they did it all for me. Appreciate them, man. And also, Mr. Jeff Peach. Jeff was the city attorney for Smyrna, and I think he served with the town of Smyrna for 30 years.
Wow.
In law enforcement and,
Long time.
City attorney. And he's starting his new job with the Murfreesboro City as city attorney. And so that's all I got for right now.
Yeah, Jeff's a good guy. I remember.
He really is. He really
I'll
is.
tell you a story. His dad's my Sunday school teacher.
Oh, yeah.
Dick Peach. And one day, wife and I, this is like 14 years ago, we were going through kind of a rough spell, man, just having some difficulties. I was brand new in the General Assembly and, struggling with one of my sons. And man, I remember Jeff gave me some marriage advice.
Don't do it. I know what you're going to say. Go ahead, man. He says,
man, I mean, it's really kind of sweet, though, if you think about it. Because, men, we keep to ourselves. We don't talk about things. And, I was kind of down. and he says, hey, man, whatever you do, don't chase your wife. Don't chase her. And he goes, trust me. I'm an expert on these things. I've been married 3 times. And I was like, I thought about it. I was like, one of the philosophical moments, like Socrates, I was scratching my head like, is he an expert? Anyway, he is a great guy. I probably shouldn't share on radio, but sorry, Jeff.
He really is.
He is a good guy. But you know what was neat, though? It really was kind of nice because, man, as men, we keep things to ourselves. We don't talk about things. And what is sad, people when they get depressed, man, they take their own life. And I can remember being really down, never at that stage, but I remember thinking to myself, I understand why people could commit suicide. I can understand it.
Yeah.
Not that I would do it, but I can empathize with people dealing with mental health. But really the struggles, it's a good thing because but I did the opposite of what Jill said. What I did, I started thinking about me when I was dating my wife. So I started writing love letters.
Yeah.
And I started going back to when I was 19. And I started thinking about that. And, you know, just kind of, what was that guy's name? He's like romantic guy.
Oh, I know romantic guys.
There's a lot of guys like that.
But anyways, I had
Remember, I've been married twice, Mike.
what was the guy? There's a name. I forgot what his name.
Romeo or
Casanova.
So you're
I was
the,
trying to be Casanova.
But yeah. So I mean, you've been married
If
what,
she's
30,
listening
36
right
years.
now, if
36
she's
years.
listening right now, she'd
So
probably be.
How long you been married?
same
Is it
for me.
36 years?
Not 37, brother.
Really?
40
That's
together.
great. And
Oh, yeah, it's a miracle.
But see, man, you got a great wife. That's the thing.
Well,
I know your
I
wife.
prayed about it. That's why I believe in the power of prayer.
Yeah.
But you had but shout out to Jeff. Jeff really is a great guy.
Yeah.
And
and they're gonna miss him there, man. We are.
oh yeah, you know it really is. But anyways, we got Trey Mansfield coming up, and we'll take a quick break unless you got something.
No, I'm gonna save this for Trey. I got a little something for Trey here. We'll come back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's kind of
All right.
little
All
info.
right.
All
Well,
right.
Connor, let's take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Josh Moss with Affordable Heating and Cooling provides residential HVAC and duct cleaning services to the Middle Tennessee area. With more than 20 years of experience, Josh Moss and the AHC team provide 24/7 service and take care to ensure whatever work you need done is done in a professional, timely manner. Contact AHC at 615-745-1676. That's 615-745-1676. Or go to their website at affordableheatingandcoolingtn.com.
Most people know that their insurance can provide them with coverage for the many life's mishaps, but I can help you also unlock discounts, save money, and get benefits with Farmers Insurance policy perks. Whether we're discussing home or auto insurance, I am here to help you understand these great perks. Call me, Mark Lewis, at 615-625-7070 for a quote, and you can get a whole lot of something with Farmers policy perks.
Not available in every state. Only available with select Farmers branded policies underwritten by Farmers Truck or Fire Insurance Exchanges or affiliate.
Want a flawless look without the wait? Step into the Vanity Zone in Smyrna, where upscale style meets everyday convenience. Specializing in precision cuts, color services, waxing, and more for men, women, and kids. All delivered by highly trained stylists with an eye for detail. And don't miss the signature hot towel refresher, the perfect finishing touch that leaves you feeling clean, relaxed, and ready for anything. Walk in or book now the Vanity Zone in Smyrna. Looking your best is always in style.
Is your car running like a dream, or does it need a little TLC? At Dr. Automotive in Smyrna, we treat your vehicle like it's one of our own. Let's hear what some customers have to say about Dr. Automotive.
Been coming to them ever since he opened up. Good family. I recommend other people to get them repaired here because I knew they would do it and do it right. Been happy to send people to him because I trust what he does so much.
We're crazy about him. It's all about the doctor.
For quality care you can trust, visit Dr. Automotive in Smyrna. We've got the cure for your car.
Hello, I'm Roger, one of the tour guides at Sam Davis Home, 1399 Sam Davis Road in Smyrna. To learn more about Sam Davis, Smyrna's boyhood hero, we offer tours Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. No reservations required. To book a wedding, creek house rental, field trip, or any other event, contact Jenny Lamb, our director, at director@samdavishome.org. Visit our Facebook page or give us a call at 615-459-2341.
All right, we're back. Conversation Mike Sparks talking to Trey Mansfield, candidate running for sheriff. Trey, how you doing?
Good. How are you, Mike?
Doing good, sir. Thanks for coming up.
Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah. How's the race coming along?
It's going pretty good.
Yeah.
I feel pretty confident right now. Yeah.
Well, it seems like, y'all's race, unless I missed something, seems like it's went good. I don't see, I mean, you're always going to have little disturbances, but it seems like y'all's have kind of been gentlemanly and polite from what I've seen.
For the most part, it has, yeah.
unlike some school board races and unlike the mayor race. And man, I mean, that's some nastiness, boy. I've seen some nastiness. It's worse. I was saying at that Facebook Live we did, man, it's worse than Trump and Kamala Harris. You know what I'm saying? It's bad, man. It's like, Jesus. I feel sorry for people. I'm like, God, because I've been through all that stuff, man. I know the pain, man. Yeah, they ain't had it worse than I have. I had the governor come against me, a billionaire. Haslam's people come against me.
Haslam?
Yeah, I was sitting there watching TV one night. It was kind of funny. My wife and I watched TV, and I already had a race, and all of a sudden it's like Mike Sparks voted to raise 14 times, and I'm like, what the heck is this? And I knew who it was. The Lord told me who it was. I knew exactly who it was.
Yeah.
And I went and seen the guy. Is the governor's chief of staff. I won't say his name because I deal with him a little bit now, and I'm a forgiving guy. But what was cool, I called out some white collar BS, and I went and put a quarter on his desk, and I spun it, and it spun pretty good. You ever like spun a quarter? And it really did good. And I looked out, I said, bro, that's what I got out of pocket right here, and put it in my hand. I said, my opponent had $100,000, and I still won. I said, I got a quarter out of pocket. The Lord's going to take care of me. And the Lord replaced that dude. Replace him a month later.
Oh wow,
man, it's a cool story. It's a little too lengthy to share on the radio, but that's where faith matters and prayer matters, you know. But I've been through that nastiness, man.
Absolutely.
You know,
well, that's part of the reason I'm here is because I feel like this is where God wants me to be. So
yes,
yeah.
You know, how's so when did you decide to run for sheriff?
Probably about a year and a half ago. It came up in a conversation with some friends of mine that you know, we were talking about the law enforcement product that we've got and how we could do it better. And after they, you know, I threw out some suggestions, and they're like, hey, man, you might need to think about running for sheriff. And I'm like, y'all are nuts.
Yeah.
I mean, and it built some steam over 6-8 months. And then, you know, when I say built some steam, I got more people asking me to do it. And I was kind of confused. I went and talked to my preacher, and he said a prayer for me for wisdom and direction. And 2 days later, I got my neon sign from the good Lord, and here I am.
Yep. So 33 years law enforcement.
Almost 34. Yeah.
What made you want to go in law enforcement?
My dad, my mom. I mean, my whole family is public service.
Really?
So yeah.
And you're
my
from
mom
Putnam
was
County?
a nurse. I am from Putnam
County. Yeah.
My dad's originally from Nashville. He was a police officer in Nashville, and he met my mom when she was in college, and moved to Putnam County and became a sheriff's deputy there.
Out there.
Yeah. So
you know, that's a nice area.
Yeah, it is.
Well,
it's a beautiful area.
My son went to Tech out there, Preston, his first year. It was funny because, you know, when they turned 17, 18, they got like this little rebellious attitude. And he's, I remember one time I was getting on to him about something, and he said, when I turned 18, I moved to California. I thought, California? Why California? And then he went out to Tech with the first week he come back, and he said, Dad, what are y'all doing tonight? And I said, we're going to go to the same Mexican restaurant. I'm going to say I'm in the same booth. I'm going to order the same combination dinner and order a water. He said, can I go with y'all? It was really kind of sweet, you know. But I guess he got homesick that first week, you know.
I think we all got to try to spread our wings. And
Exactly.
We end up coming back home eventually.
Yeah, I never wanted to leave Smyrna. I just wanted to stay here, you know. And in Rutherford County, I think we kind of got it good here. And, you know, it's different than what it was when we grew up out back in the day. I mean, as I was coming in here, I'm reflecting back at life, seen 2 or 3 homeless people stand in the middle of the road. And I seen somebody over here, one of the across from City Hall. I don't know what was going on with that person. I don't know if they were on something, but
I saw that.
See it?
Yeah.
I mean, at night, you know, you'll see walk out here, and you just never know what you're going to run into. And it seems like the mental health is on the rise in addiction. You know,
I agree. I totally agree. I think the downtown area has kind of become a safe haven for the homeless, and we're trying to deal with it best we can with Murfreesboro City Police. So.
Yes. Well, the jail, I think we were talking to one of the candidates a week or two ago, and it's 1,050 inmates right now?
It fluctuates, but yeah, it's always over 1,000 from what I've heard. Yeah.
And it was built for what, 9 or 850?
It was 850, and then they doubled up the cells with, put 2 bunks in the cells, and it made it 9,653, whatever it is. Regardless, it's overcrowded.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Well, when I sit on finance, and we had TDOC come up, and I was asking him about and I've shared this a couple of times, the cost of a new state prison, because the overcrowding here and our leader William Lambert said we're probably going to build a new state prison. And I asked the commissioner, and he's a nice guy. I like the guy, but he didn't. I said, what's the new prison going to cost us? He didn't have an answer. I'm thinking He didn't have an answer, and I thought to myself, dude, if I was a commissioner, I'd have an answer. I'd have at
I've
least
done a little bit of homework.
Yes, I guess he just wasn't expecting the question. But whatever the answer is, it's expensive to build a new prison. It's expensive to pay correctional officers. And to me, the whole system is a little unsustainable to just, we lock up more people than any country on the face of the earth. And, a lot of it is from addiction. A lot of it is mental health,
Well, Mike, didn't you pass that? Was it you who did that one on the drag racing? Was that your bill?
Well, mine was the task force. We passed it last year to try to slow down some of these, get these guys off the streets. And it's getting, I think it's helped a little bit, but man, Nashville I-24 gets kind of crazy.
You talking about the street racers?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I know one, and you just happen to know him. It's from around 1990. No, he said Michael Yates.
Yeah, I do know Michael Yates.
I told him I was going to call him out on the radio.
Oh yeah.
I had lunch with him, brother. That was 1990. Man.
Speed racer himself. Yeah.
No, they ended up settling that though. The gentleman away, him and Steve Bell. Mike had the Mustangs that first come out. Remember around 1990, or was you was about 12 anyway?
Yeah. No.
Well, anyway, they were really hot, and Mike still got it. Only got like 114,000 miles on it.
Yeah.
Anyway, this guy had a Chevelle, wanted to race Mike after work. Bridgestone.
Yeah.
They said it was a tie, so they went to Union Hill, and according to Mike, he smoked it. So Steve, you listen, and Mike said he smoked you on that one, but he did. He knows you, man. He says nothing but good things to say about you. So,
Thank you.
Did you pull him over or something?
That's a great. I've worked with him for years.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, I've worked
He's
with
been
him.
there like 30 years probably. Yeah, but that's a good buddy of mine, and we had lunch the other day, a bunch of us, and you can't beat him, man. Really good guy.
He's a really good detective. He works the child sex predator cases and stuff, and that's the cases nobody else wants to work.
That's how my son knows him. My son's an attorney here, and that's how he knows him, Mike, and through that. So they had nothing good to say about him too.
But that'd have to affect your mental health.
Oh, I couldn't. I'll be honest with you. That's one job I don't think I could do.
Well, one of the areas that we've talked about a lot with Keith Braxton and others is mental health among firefighters and police. I mean, what do you think most people do to kind of just wind down and to kind of deal with some of the things that y'all deal with?
You have to be able to compartmentalize what you see on the street and realize that is professional, and you can't bring it back into your home. It's really hard to do that. You can't completely rule out and not bring in everything that you experience on the street into your home. But if you really try and you train yourself, you can for the most part. Leave it at the door.
Yeah, is the department pretty? They give you the tools that you need if an officer feels like they need to reach out to someone.
Yes, I've actually had issues myself with a couple of different instances with dead children or whatever, and they've given me the resources I've needed to carry on and move forward, and the department really is big on the employee assistance program if you need it.
Yes, I know Bill Ketchum, when he was senator, carried a bill about increasing, I guess, with IEP sessions, and the firefighter association came up, and I was fairly kind of new, and I thought, man, I didn't really see the need at that time. And then I started listening to stories, and I thought, oh my gosh, man, some of the stories I would hear, I don't know if I could handle it. Seeing that kind of stuff, seeing children and things like that.
I couldn't do it. That wouldn't be my cup of tea at all. When you got grandkids, great grandkids and stuff, and of course I lost a son.
Yeah.
So nothing like I don't want to be around that at all. At all.
It's rough, but at the end of the day, you got to realize that the good Lord's got you there for a reason, and He's got you there because people need people that are stronger than they are at that particular point, and that kind of carries you through.
Yeah, I was just sharing, and it's kind of a funny story about Jeff Peach. If Jeff's listening, I mean it all due respect. I remember just being down, but Jeff was really kind of encouraging for me. He's like, "Man, don't get down, brother." Because I'm gonna tell you, man, I remember reaching out to somebody at church we used to go to, and I was like, "Hey, what do you think?" And this guy was a deacon, and he was like, "Oh, looks like it's over with," and I was like, I thought to myself, man, this is advice I'm getting. I've been here for years, and I thought, and they ain't there for me, brother. I was like down. I thought, my gosh, man, I was lonely, man.
Yeah.
You know, it was, but it was cool when you had somebody like Jeff that was like, hey, man, keep your head held high, brother. Then I had a strange text from a friend of mine from Nissan, man. I remember I was real depressed. I was at church and depressed, and I remember because I done the offering, and I remember a guy, Ray Walden, he worked at Bridgestone, worked with me at Nissan, then he went to Bridgestone. I remember, man, he sent me this text. I looked at my phone, and it said, mighty man of God, keep your head held high, don't be down. And I thought, how did he know I was down? It was the weirdest thing, and I ain't seen that guy in like 6 years. He just sent me a text, man. I called him later. He said, man, you were on my mind, brother. I was like, whoa, that was really neat, you know.
Pretty awesome.
But people need people.
They do. They need people to be there for them. They need people to understand what they're going through. Sometimes they just need them to listen.
Yeah.
You know, and that's part of a police officer's job. You know, sometimes it's not always the enforcement side. You have to have the compassionate side of you.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's a well-rounded officer can do it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you pretty intimidating looking guy. You don't
I'm a teddy bear.
You
I am
don't
a
say
teddy
much,
bear.
man.
Yeah. If my mom was still living, she'd tell you I'm a teddy bear.
Really? Is your dad still around?
No, both. Dad died in
passed?
16, Mom died in 17. So.
Yeah. I just paid a tribute to my buddy Eric Tutabani with his dad died this morning. He was 95, and if Brian Barrett's listening, Eric said it's okay for me to play that Hot Blooded and Jukebox Hero song. Because he said, man, that's our music. We can play that stuff. I got the rights to it, you know. But anyways, you know, it's not like, you know, losing your parents, man. That's rough.
No, it is. It really is. It's especially, you know, I took care of my parents for 8 years before they both died.
Really?
So yeah, it was pretty rough.
Yeah.
But hey, they're in a better place. So
Amen to that.
Yeah.
You know.
But you know, like my dad was kind of like my best friend. You know, I don't know how y'all pretty tight with your dads.
Oh yeah.
I don't know, would you so?
Okay.
I know you really. I know you talk about it a lot. I didn't know how to.
The military. Was your dad military?
He was.
Oh, was he? Yeah.
My dad was too. But I ended up when I was in business. I was in business together, and I got to really know him. I didn't know him growing up until I was with him every day, side by side. You know, 40 hours a week. And that's how I got knowing him.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Well, you know, one
the other
thing,
side of him, you know?
and that kind of segues into what you and I were talking about earlier. We were talking about, I guess I was telling you to remind me to pay the tribute to Eric. The guy's got a great memory, man. I'll end up getting chasing a squirrel on something real easy. It's easy to do.
Well, I'll be chasing with you.
I know, man. It's easy to get sidetracked. You know, just like going on. And but man, one of the areas that I think that we've lost our culture is the lack of fathers, man, lack of mentors, and you know,
Real
I think
men in the home.
I wish we could. I don't know how we address it as a culture, but I really wish we could address it in the jails, address it with our nonprofits, address it at our churches, our schools. You know, it's just challenging. You know, how do we do that? You know.
Well, I mean, you hold people accountable, and you actually lead by example.
Yeah.
You know, we all make mistakes as parents. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we're going to make mistakes. The difference is whether or not you can correct those mistakes moving forward. And a lot of people get frustrated and like, you know, I made a mistake and I don't want to own it, so I'm just going to back away from it and give up. And that's not the way to do it. You got to be persistent, and you got to, you know, you're there for a reason as a parent to mentor, and to lead. So that's my opinion anyway.
I know I remember my dad telling me, I remember exactly where I was sitting because they divorced when I was 2. My dad always said, if you ever get arrested, don't call me. I ain't coming after you. And it's like Marvin, you know, my assistant, well, former assistant, he's now at law school, working for Office of the Courts, young African-American. He helped me campaign. I think he's 20, probably 29 now.
Really great guy.
Oh, he's such a good guy. And his dad really wasn't in his life. He's kind of like our son, I guess you could say. And he said something, you know, last year, he said, you know, man, he says, and this is what he said. I hope nobody gets mad at me. If anybody's listening, get mad at me about this. He said, as a young black man, he says, if I broke down on the side of the road and I'm crying, ain't nobody coming for me. They ain't stopping to help me. That's his words. He said, the cavalry ain't coming after me. He said, I got to suck it up, and I got to figure out my problem, and I got to fix it, and I got to find the resources, and I got to move on with my life. And, you know, and that's true. Now, he said, well, if you're a woman, yeah, they're probably going to stop and help you. But as a man, and he said, and I'm just telling you what he says, a black man, they ain't stopping for him. And that's him telling me that, you know. But he's such a good young man. I'll call him. He's hey, can I call you tomorrow? I'm studying for my finals. You know. But such a good guy. But I think the reason him and I connected was just that father figure, that mentor figure.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and that's what people look for. They really do. I had a guy stop me in Kroger's the other day, and he's younger than me, about 20 years younger than me. And way back in the day when I first got here, I arrested him, and we kind of got in a little tussle. And
really?
He walked up and he said, "Mr. Mansfield." I said, "Hey, yeah." He said, "You really turned my life around."
Yeah.
He said, "You were really nice to me." He said, "I know I caused you some issues." He said, "But you actually helped me later on. I appreciate it." He said, "I never had that happen before," and that's what you need to have compassion.
Yeah, you know, I got on one of my son's friends. Got on to him last year, and kid's kind of a knucklehead, and I feel sorry for him. And I got on to him about he was doing something with his car, and it was two of them trying to take an oil filter off. Okay, and I said, "What are you doing?" I said, "It'll take two guys to take an oil filter off," and I was telling them, "Be productive. Go find something else to do. Let somebody else work on an oil filter, or go to Haviland."
How many Southerners does it take?
I know. Yeah. And my wife said, "You don't need to get on to him. He never really knew his father like that." And I said, "Well, maybe somebody needs to get on to him. Maybe that's why."
Yeah, and he needs a little tough love.
I mean, it really is. Now what? How old was your dad, or how old would he be today?
He was 71 when he died, so he'd be close to 80 now.
80.
Yeah.
See, my dad grew up in Great Depression, and man, that generation, man, they just didn't, and probably your dad's generation too. They just didn't play around.
No, no, they made you tough.
I mean, it really was, you know. And I remember my '68 Camaro. I went out there to do the brakes on it, the drums, and I, like a knucklehead, I was 17. I took both drums and all the springs out of it, you know, and the brakes. I was out there for like 8 hours, man. We didn't have no cell phone. We didn't have no YouTube. And one of the neighbors felt sorry for me and come over and help me put it all back together. But after that, I learned a lesson.
I got a similar story. I tried to help my dad give our Oldsmobile station wagon a tune-up.
Yeah.
And I was trying to work the socket, getting the spark plugs out, and I've never took so many butt chewings in my life.
Really?
I'm like, well, teach me how to do it, you know, instead of just put me to it. But yeah.
Well, I never did that again.
No.
You know? I mean, it's you know, it just seems like sometimes they should have a little bit more compassion, but that's just a different generation, you know. Did you ever know Sally Walls in Smyrna?
I did.
Yeah.
I knew Howard Walls. Why?
No, that would be the other Sally Walls.
Okay.
Sally Walls, it was in Smyrna, police chief in Smyrna.
No, I did not know.
First female police chief in Smyrna.
No.
I mean, in the state of Tennessee.
She kicked the door in.
You seen her kick the door in?
Yeah. My cousin did.
Yeah.
Kicked the door.
We got to honor on the House floor the night she passed. And Senator Haggerty gave her a shout out.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Wow.
I guess they heard me talk about it, and Senator Haggerty put it out on Twitter and Facebook.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I ended up preaching her funeral. It was the wildest thing. She was my neighbor, so I consider her like a mentor.
Yeah.
You know.
Everybody said she was. I didn't know her, but everybody said she was a good lady.
She was tough, man.
Yeah.
You know, she was tough. I seen her wrestle two guys out in the front yard and take them both down. You know what I mean? It was like, but I watched her go through the academy. I was like 10, and her husband, Major Walls, on the Omni Hood, he built like a 10-foot wall, and she would run. And I'm gonna be honest, man, she wasn't in the best of shape. She was on the heavy side, and I said that on the house floor, and I think people look at me like, but she was. I'm just being honest about it. But man, one thing about Sally, man, she was determined, dude.
Yeah.
She wouldn't give up and determined. And I'd see her run to that wall, wouldn't climb it. When kids would watch her, I'd see her run again, couldn't climb it. And finally, she made it. It was just persistence.
Grit.
But I had I think Roger knows this. When I was a kid, I got set up by a bad cop. Now, you know, I think most cops are good. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
99% of them, you know. And I was at Todd Lane and Hazelwood, and I was in that Camaro. I pulled up, and the guy's just staring at me, directing traffic. And I'm there, and you could either go left or right. Now it's a red light. And I'm looking at him. He's looking at me. He just drops his hands. It's just him and I. I'm looking at him. He's looking at me. And I just decided to turn left. And he called in a backup, blew the whistle. It was Ken Atkin. You know Ken Atkin? Ken's retired, former boxer.
I don't know
Smyrna. And he fought Thomas Hitman Hearns. And Ken was new. He pulled in. He goes, Mike, what'd you do? I'm like, man, the cop. But think about this. the cop would not give me direction. Think of the metaphor. I said, he wouldn't give me direction. Luckily, I went to Sally because I knew Sally, and I hung out. They took me out to eat to a country club, and I said, Sally, I said, this police officer wouldn't give me direction. She said, let me see that ticket. So I get the ticket out of my wallet, and I show it to her. She looked at the ticket, you know what she said? She goes, this dude's a bad cop. I'm just telling you what Sally said. She goes, he's a bad cop. She said, you don't worry about this. But here's what's cool. I had a dream. Before she died, I had a dream she passed. I told my wife, I said, because, you know, we were close growing up. I said, I bet she's going to pass in her dream. They asked me to preach a funeral, speak the funeral. And I shared that at the funeral. And then at the graveside, she's being buried by her son. Her son was one of my best friends growing up. And he took his own life with her retired police revolver. Sadly, his name was Lonnie. Wild as a buck, man, growing up. But the point I was making at that funeral is that everybody needs somebody in their corner. She was our liaison. She was our lobbyist. She was our advocate. And everybody at that funeral, she touched everyone in their lives. And Andy Miller, if you know Sergeant Miller.
I do.
I don't think he's going to mind me sharing this, but they asked me to pray at the graveside, and I was like, no, let's get someone else to pray. And they got Andy. I got a little emotional, Andy, man. Andy really had a tough time with it. But she touched so many lives. I mean, Commissioner Rick Hall, so many people could attest to her example, you know, of what it was like. And she grew up, man. I mean, you can imagine being a female running. I mean, to be a police officer back then.
It's got to be tough. Yeah, back then, especially. Yeah.
She was tough. Man.
Yeah, all her stepsons, I guess, was Joe and all. And they were Golden Glove boxers. One, a couple of them.
No wonder she was tough.
She was tough, man. Yeah. I sure miss her. But speaking of mentors, who's been kind of a mentor for you?
My father's the number one mentor.
Yeah.
Commissioner Bill Jones has been one of my mentors.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Bill Jones, that used to be the commissioner of safety here and the Highway Patrol.
Yeah.
He actually he's the 5 years I worked with him, I learned more under his administration than anybody else. My father and him. So yeah. And I've had a couple along the way. Eddie Ferris, sheriff in Cookeville, he's really helped me out in Putnam County. I mean, I could go on with probably 10 of them, but yeah, I've had really good people, really good police officers and law enforcement agents in my path that showed me the right direction.
You know, last year I had a resolution honoring, I called it this fatherless mentorship resolution. I had it on the House floor, and I had 4 lawmakers come up and speak. One was on a mission trip, wrote a book about the fatherless, and he wrote a book, and it was a little girl come up to him. She was an orphan. She said, I guess the family had been helping her, and she said, can I call you Dad? And he was, so he wrote a book about it. Then Chris Hurt talked about a coach, baseball coach was like a father figure. Then Michelle Renault, she talked about her dad wasn't there, so she looked to her heavenly father. It was very touching. And then I had a black lawmaker, Antonio Parks out of Memphis, and he spoke. And at the end, he closed it out. He says, he said, when I was in high school, I brought a gun to school. He said, I plan on taking out 4 guys. I mean, he says it's on the House floor, and he's a lawmaker. He says, I had 4 guys I was going to take out. He says, someone spotted the gun at school. Someone intervened. He said, but if I'd had a father at home, I don't think I'd have done that. Right. And he's opened up about it. And then somebody just reached, he went to jail, I guess, or juvenile detention about that time, and he ended up going to the Marines.
Yeah.
But it was the testimony is so powerful for him. I need to make a video or something about it, but he says that himself, and he's out of Memphis, and says, if I'd had a dad at home, I don't think I'd done that.
No. You had somebody to guide you and direct you.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah. But so when the election's May 5th.
Yeah,
okay. Tuesday.
Yes. Yeah. And what I saw the other day, I think is about 14,000. We talked about a little earlier that had early voted.
Not enough, in my opinion.
Yes,
yeah.
And about 28,000 what they're expecting votes out of a county. 380,000.
Still not enough, in my opinion.
Right.
So,
but we talked about a little earlier too before we came on. If this is me, get out and vote. If you don't vote, don't complain.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let your voice be heard.
Yeah, and we got 3 great candidates. I mean, I met all 3 of them.
Oh, yeah.
They're great guys. Y'all got a good crop to pick from. Get out and get one of them in there,
Yeah, absolutely.
But no, I tell you, man, running for office is hard. I respect anybody that throws their name out there, man.
You know, I've asked everybody that's already been elected, what's the worst part of campaigning that you've experienced?
Oh, with mine?
Yeah.
You know, man,
he makes his wife cry a lot.
Well, it would have to be when my youngest boy got in trouble, and then I had the governor come against me. Then I had an opponent come against me. I had fake news come against me. But you know, and give God the glory for it, we still won. And you know, I remember her crying in her sleep, crying in her sleep. Yeah, and I remember thinking to myself, do I wake her up? Because she was really having a nightmare. Do I wake her up from a nightmare to enter a nightmare? I mean, you know what I mean? I mean, a real nightmare. And I let her sleep.
Waiting off into
Dude, it's tough, man. I mean, I've been through those. It's tough, man. But you know what? Is it Romans? It says, count it blessing, count it joy when you suffer persecution and tribulations because it builds character.
Right.
That's true, man.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you probably learn more from those tough times than wins, because it just makes you work harder, you know.
I'll be honest, when I threw my name in the hat last June, or actually I started doing this last March, but I am a stronger, more educated, better I know now what my true ceiling is. And I believe I know what my true ceiling is now.
I was talking to somebody the other day, running for office, and you know, I've often seen more, like, I've never really seen a downside, even if somebody loses. There's always an upside. I mean, yeah, you might be out, you know, a little bit of money or something like that, but I think you do learn, you gain a lot of insight. You make friends.
Oh, yeah, you do.
I guarantee you've probably picked up a few hundred more friends.
Absolutely.
You know?
Really good friends, too, yeah.
And, you know, I checked on a guy this morning, Harold Grider, just thought about him, and lives on Chicken Pike. Called him, hey, man, you was on my mind today. See how you doing? And, you know, met a lot of good people throughout. But, you know, man, I've seen a lot of people, though, pass away. You know? I mean, a lot of solid people just, you know, I'm going to more funerals and,
yeah, that's scary.
You know, Mike, like my son, you know, he ran a school board. He got beat the very first time. Okay.
Yeah.
Now he's run 2 more times. He's won it both times.
Yeah.
Like, I think like the #1 guy now, but first time, you know, youngest one, I guess, you know.
Yeah.
There. But now he does, you know, he loves it. And, you know, he needs to move because got another grandbaby on the way. The house is not big enough, but he's staying in the county. The house he really wants is another county. It's a lot bigger.
Oh.
But he's going to stay in the county so he can stay on the school board.
School board?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. But that first time, I remember I didn't want to be around him for about a week. Like, oh Lord, you know.
Well, I figured out I hated asking people for donations.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, that's the toughest.
That is, I hate that.
Who is that guy that does that on the all time? The guy from Knoxville, or what's he? He's always asking. Builds the skateboards. What's his name? The congressman.
Oh, Tim Burchett.
Tim.
Yeah, I just talked to him about
yeah. He's like, that gummit. Here you go.
Yeah.
He said that's the hardest. That's the hardest thing. He said you have to have money, you know, to run and asking people to donate, but that's part of it, you know. I mean,
that is the hardest.
That's terrible. I hate it.
Wow. He hates it. I know he hates doing it.
Yeah.
Oh, I do. Somebody asked me the other day. Well, I'll tell you, I had somebody the other day come up to me, and he's a good guy, and he said, "Man, I'm going to teach you how to raise money." But man, the Lord just provides, dude.
That's it.
I'll have something happen, and all of a sudden, like I had the biggest Republican donor. I walked up to him years ago, and I gave my book. I wrote a book, Learn to Barter, like trade. You know, I was worried about national debt. We were at like 17 trillion. Now we're 38 trillion or close to 39. And I walk up to this guy, and he was the biggest donor. And I said, "Look, man, I ain't going to hit you up for no money." I said, "Here's my book." He looked at me. I said, "I ain't going to hit you up for money like these other people do. But if you ever need me, you call me." He goes, "Man," he looked at my book. He said, "Dude, we may have to resort to this if we don't get this national debt under control." And when the governor come against me, I called Judd Matheny. Sadly, Judd passed about 2 years ago. Good guy. I said, "Dude," I called him for some advice, man. He says, "Man," and I'll tell you, Andy Miller. He goes, "Man, you need to call Andy Miller." He says, "If he knows the governor's against you, brother, that dude's gonna love you, man." So I called him. Man, dude hooked me up. I went out there. I said, "Remember what I told you a couple of years ago?" It was kind of like eating crow.
Yeah.
Not that I've ever ate crow, but I mean, I was like, "Hey, remember what I told you? I wasn't going to hit you up." Because I hated to do that, you know, because I'm going back on my own word. And he goes, He looked at me, kind of gave me this look. I said, you know, Moses had that Aaron guy helping him. I said, brother, you're my Aaron. He said, man, you go get him. You just go get him, brother. And it was really a neat blessing because he come in at the last moment there. But man, I'm telling you, raising money. That's why I wouldn't want to be in Congress. Could you imagine?
No way.
The dollar for dollars all the time.
Golly, yeah,
hitting people up all the time. I wouldn't want to have no part of it.
No, that was the worst part of the whole thing for me is. I'd appreciate your
brother. Can you spare a dime?
Yeah,
I hate
really.
it, man. Especially when you know people are struggling themselves.
Right.
You know, seniors and fixed incomes.
Well, you're looking at me on that when he did that. Yeah.
No, I just hate it. Well, that's why you got to learn. I wrote a book called How to Do More with Less too. Not trying to plug my book, but I'm pretty frugal.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's on Amazon. It's on Amazon, isn't it?
It is on Amazon.
Okay,
But
okay.
everything I got on come Goodwill, brother. Everything.
Hey, I'm with
except
you.
my underwear and my watch and my socks.
Jeff Peach is a Goodwill too.
Hey, you know what? It's funny you said that. Jeff's the one that got me going to Goodwill.
Oh, is he really?
I promise you. It's his fault. I happened to see him. I was on the planning committee years ago, and I was like, hey, I like that sport coat you got. Man, this was 15, 18 years ago, 20 years ago. He says, so where'd you get that at? You know, and he goes, got a Goodwill. I was like, what? No, you did not, because I never would go to Goodwill. Man, he said, dude, I get a lot of nice clothes there. I mean, I bought this shirt. It had a tag. It had a brand new tag on it.
That's a nice shirt.
I mean, it had brand new that tag and everything on it. Yeah,
that's awesome.
You just never know what
He
you're
got some
gonna
awesome
find.
yellow
I may go
pants
to
there one
Goodwill.
time too.
I'll go tomorrow.
Yellow pants.
You get one had no yellow pants. He got
I
some
don't
yellow
have
pants there.
I don't
Yeah.
have yellow
No,
pants.
I don't wear them. I bought them.
I got green, but not yellow.
I bought them just in case I had to go to one of these fancy places, like the village people hanging out.
Yeah.
I was like, no.
Want to draw attention, you say?
They were nice, but anyways, I had them dry cleaned, and they turned them like, instead of yellow, they were tan. I told the guys, hey, man, these pants were yellow. He goes, it's this Chinese, South Korean guy. He goes, no, they won't. No, they won't. They this color. I'm like, no, man, these pants were yellow, and I brought them to you, man. And I was like, okay, I ain't going to argue about it.
He probably didn't like the color, probably dyed them for
You know
you.
what I mean?
You know?
I wasn't going to argue with the guy, but anyway.
They look better like this.
Yeah. It's but running for office, it is tough.
Yeah,
know?
it is.
I just wish people get along.
I do too.
You know what I mean? Just
Yeah.
work good together, and I was proud of my son Preston when he ran for office years ago, and he never knocked on a door. He lost by I think 70 votes. Never knocked on one door. He's just not a campaigner at all. Smart guy, but not a campaigner. And he called and conceded. I was really proud of him. I didn't tell him to call and concede. It was within when he learned, boom, he called. Hey, congratulations, you know. And Kent Coleman, when I won that race, he called and conceded. It was like he was excited to lose.
Really?
He's like, look, Mike, look like you got this. Yeah, I was like, okay.
Yeah, I graduated with Kent.
Kent's a great guy. You ever know Kent Coleman?
I didn't.
He's an attorney on Square. He sadly passed about 6 years ago.
That's where Jimmy's office is.
He was a great guy. You know, my wife really liked him. She, you know what he done that was really cool? My wife's name is Felicia.
Mm-hmm.
He knew her name. He would pronounce her name right, Felicia.
Really?
Some other people, which I won't say their names, they're elected officials, and they would call her Alicia. Alicia,
Yeah.
Man, you can't
Well,
get
she
a
called
woman's-
one of your buddies Richard, didn't she? If
Yeah.
she's listening.
Richard.
She called me Richard. She called me Richard one day.
Kent really was a great guy. I took him lunch after I won over at City Cafe. I said, Ken, how come nobody cares about the drug problem? He says, Mike, if no one's ever been affected by a drug problem, they probably don't care. He tells me to get on the health committee. He said, that way you can raise money for your next campaign. Think about it, Trey. My opponent's telling me how to raise money.
Yeah.
I call that a god thing. But he was
It is.
But he really cared about the community.
Well,
so he wanted me to do good because he wanted Rutherford County to do good.
Exactly. That's a stand-up guy.
He really was. Speaking of, we were talking about trials and tribulations. I always like that Michael Jordan quote where he says, I think this is so cool. I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I failed over and over and over again in my life. He said, that's why I succeed. That is so cool. And Babe Ruth, what was it? He lost. He set like 700 home runs, but he struck out like 1,200 times.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's, yeah. You got to know what failure tastes like before you can
Yes.
succeed.
Oh, yeah.
You really do.
Well, if we got a few more minutes, if you any final words you want to get into?
I'm asking for everybody's vote here, and I've got pure intentions. I don't have my own agenda. I feel like that I can provide a better product of public safety for Rutherford County, and I'm excited about being your next sheriff if you'll have me. So
Did you know Truman Jones much?
I did.
I knew Truman a little bit. I hope he's doing okay. I know he probably listens a little bit.
I hope he is too. I've heard he's had some issues with health. I don't know.
Yeah.
I saw him about 8 months ago with, I think it was his daughter at the Sylvan Park restaurant.
I think Marty.
I had lunch.
Luffman and
I had
him.
lunch with him.
Oh, was it you, Marty?
Yeah. I was with Marty when we had lunch with him. Yeah.
Was Greg Tucker? Tucker there?
Yes.
Yeah.
And Tony was there.
You know, one thing I was sharing with previous candidates, one thing I liked about that Truman would do is I always thought it was wise that folks went through as a correctional officer before they went into patrol. I always thought that was wise, you know.
Oh yeah, because you get to know all the players, basically.
And then be able to what would you call it? De-escalate a situation, man. Because so many people, you just never know what they're dealing with, and that's one thing about Sally, man. You know, I seen that situation in Murfreesboro where Metro, I don't know how many shots they killed. They shot that guy, you know. And I always thought of Sally, and I know how Sally would have worked. Sally would have walked up, said, "What's going on?" She'd gave him a cigarette. She'd have walked over. I knew how she would. She would have walked over with a cigarette, and she would have said, "What's going on?" And the guy probably said, "Me and my old lady broke up or something." She'd have sat on that guardrail. She'd have leaned back. Man, I've been through it. And she'd have talked to that guy.
Yeah.
And she would have settled. She would have. You know, it's hard to, hindsight's 20/20. But I knew how she was. I watched her in action for years growing up with her, and she could just tame a situation. Now, she can get fired up if she need to, like he said, kick a door down.
I'll tell a story real quick about Truman. I had a traumatic incident. I was involved in a shooting in 2010, and Truman showed up on the scene, and he walked over, and he grabbed me by the arm. He said, "Do you need anything, son?"
Yeah.
I said, "No, I'm good." He said, "Well, you just know that if you need anything, I'm here. I got you."
Amen.
And man, it calmed my nerves right there. You know? So yeah, he was just a great guy.
Well, Trey Mansfield, been our guest tonight. We sure appreciate it, Trey. Wish you the best of luck. It'd be Tuesday night, wouldn't it?
Tuesday night.
Where's your celebration party at?
My watch party is going to be at the airport, Murfreesboro Airport. I'm going to send out a text probably tonight or tomorrow, telling everybody to be there around 6:30.
All right.
See what we can do. I'll have some slick pig barbecue for people to eat. So.
Sounds good, brother.
Thank you, my man.
Carl. Thank you, Roger. Thank you, Jeremy. Folks, we'll see you next week.
Thank you.